The night carried a crisp chill when I finally stepped out of my friend's house after the birthday celebration. The porch light above me blinked uncertainly, its dim glow reminding me of the fireflies I used to chase as a child back in the countryside. The evening had stretched long, music, laughter, cake, and dancing filling every hour. I hadn't allowed myself such freedom in months, and for once, I'd put down the weight of being a single mother to simply enjoy myself. My name is Laura Parker. I'm 42, and I've been raising my son, Ethan, alone since his father walked away when Ethan was only 6. Life has demanded more of us than I ever imagined, but through it all, Ethan has been my anchor, and I've tried to be his. I made myself a promise years ago. No matter how tired or busy I became, my son would never doubt that he was loved. Even so, a small ache of guilt pricked at me as I drove home. I had been gone for hours, celebrating, while he sat at home. I slipped my key into the lock as quietly as I could, not wanting to wake him if he had already gone to bed. But the living room light was still on. His blanket, folded neatly on the couch, caught my eye. The TV, usually left humming in the background, had been switched off. "Ethan," I whispered as I closed the door behind me. For a moment, nothing. Then his voice drifted from the kitchen. "Mom, you're back." His tone was steady but heavy, carrying a weight I couldn't place. I stepped into the kitchen and found him at the table, a glass of water half finished in front of him. His brown hair was tousled, his eyes tired but sharp, as though he'd been waiting. "You should be in bed," I said with a small smile. "It's late." "I couldn't sleep," he replied, holding my gaze. Something in his stare tightened my chest. "Mom," he said after a pause, "I need to tell you something. Something important." The gravity in his voice made my stomach twist. I set my purse aside and took a seat across from him. My mind raced through possibilities. Had something happened while I was gone? Was he in trouble at school? "What is it, sweetheart?" I asked softly. He inhaled deeply, his fingers tapping restlessly on the tabletop. "I've been hiding something from you, and I can't keep it inside anymore. Tonight, I decided I had to say it." My pulse quickened. "Ethan, whatever it is, you can tell me. Always." For a moment, silence stretched between us, broken only by the low hum of the refrigerator. Then he finally spoke, words that knocked the breath from my lungs. "Mom," he whispered, "I know why Dad left. And I know something about him you never told me." I froze. My throat went dry. What do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling. His eyes shone with unshed tears. "I found some letters. In the attic. From Dad. He didn't just leave because he didn't want us. He left because he thought he wasn't enough for you. That he couldn't give us the life we deserved." The air in my chest burned. For years, I had sealed away the truth, building a wall of silence around Michael, my ex-husband. It was simpler to let Ethan believe his father had walked away out of choice, rather than reveal the harder truth, that Michael had battled his own insecurities and failed under the weight of responsibility. "You weren't supposed to see those," I whispered. "I know," Ethan said, his voice cracking. "But I did. And now, I'm scared. Because sometimes I feel the same way. Like I'm not enough. Like I'll never be enough for you." Tears blurred my vision. I reached across the table, clutching his hand tightly. "Don't you ever say that," I breathed fiercely. "You are my everything. You're the reason I push forward, the reason I laugh, the reason I breathe. You have always been enough. More than enough." His tears finally spilled, running down his cheeks. "But what if I end up like him? What if I can't live up to what you need me to be?" I pulled him into my arms, holding him close. "Ethan, you are not your father. His struggles are not yours to carry. You are your own person, and I love you exactly as you are. Nothing will ever change that." We stayed wrapped around each other for a long time, the kitchen quiet except for the faint hum of the fridge. In that silence, I realized how deeply the unspoken had weighed on him. My silence, meant to protect, had only left him with unanswered questions. That night became the first of many conversations. I began telling him about Michael, not to excuse him, but to explain. I spoke about the good memories, the ways he had tried, the love he did feel even if he couldn't stay. I made sure Ethan understood that Michael's leaving had never been his fault. Or mine. Over the weeks that followed, I saw a shift in him. A lightness. As though unburdening his fears had given him room to breathe. And for me too, a lesson, that silence, even when meant to shield, can sometimes wound more than the truth. Months later, on his 17th birthday, Ethan handed me a letter. In it, he wrote that he finally understood. He didn't have to repeat his father's choices. He wrote about his dreams, his hopes, about how he wanted to make me proud not out of fear, but out of love. As I read those words, I realized that the night I returned from that birthday party, shaken by his confession, had been a turning point. That was the night my son opened his heart fully to me. The night I gave him the truth he had always deserved. Because sometimes, the words that shake us are also the words that set us free.